So everyone's been pretty quiet with return in terms of plot, but is there anything you can tease? What can you tease? What can fans look forward to with this season?
I think people who are interested in the William story are going to be happy to know that there's we're dealing with that in an interesting way. You can expect more William this time out. I think we're dealing with Skinner's relationship in his life in an interesting way that we haven't before. So we're actually going into his character and some of his backstory that you haven't seen before. We deal with the Mulder-Scully relationship in a new and interesting way. So we're playing. We've always played that, I think, real and honest about where their characters would be in our minds from year to year to year. And I think you're going to find that it makes, I think, plausible sense where we find their characters in season 11.
It seemed like at the end of the last season, or the last 8 episodes, that Mulder had found a measure of peace. Does that kind of continue? Does he evolve a little bit more and is a little bit more less?
Yeah, he's not a peaceful character. You know, he's driven and he's searching for the truth, and he's continuing in that fashion. But you know, his character has seen so much and done so much, and we respond to that. You know, there is, and I think that the mythology, the way it's taken shape, speaks to characters who are now have a lot under their belt, and so I think that we're dealing with that spine of the show in a more interesting way.
David talked a little bit about sort of fake news and the truth isn't out there.
Yeah.
Do you deal with that, and how do you deal with that?
Yes, we do. Yes, we deal with the political realities of today in the show. We're all interested in them. It's a really curious time to be doing the X-Files because, you know, the show is a science fiction show, but really it's a science show. Scully's science is the center and core of the show, and Mulder's belief, which you could call the conspiracy aspect of the show, was always out there, and he wants to believe. Now it's the opposite. People have thrown science out the window and they believe in conspiracy theories. So we're dealing with a situation that's almost completely reversed, and it's an interesting time to be doing the show.
Can you tell us a bit about the balance between mythology and standalone episodes this season?
Yes, I can tell you that we begin with a mythology episode, which is an answer to the cliffhanger from last season. We'll end with a mythology episode. We have a mythology episode in the middle, but really that's could be called a standalone episode, a Monster of the Week episode. So I think you're going to get a Darren Morgan episode in there. You're going to get the mix that you've come to expect on the X-Files, and hopefully it's still a winning formula.
Which episode are you most excited for fans to see?
All of them right now. I just saw the director's cut of episode 2, which is excellent. I'm working on episode 1 right now, and I can tell you I just showed the first act to the studio, and they loved it. I'm continuing to work hard on that. I just saw the producer's cut of episode 3, which I think is going to be a crowd pleaser. I know episode 4 is going to be a crowd pleaser. That's the Darren Morgan episode. Episode 5 is filming.
What makes a crowd pleaser for you? What are the elements of that?
That it's entertained them. It's moved the larger story forward. It's answered questions that were unanswered before, or asked new questions. That it gets people excited about the show. It's really, you know, you could call it ratings, but it's really what you sense is that the show still has life to it and people are responding to that.
Do you feel like, you said everything is by design in reference to the end of last season. Did you already have this season in mind when you were planning that?
I can answer your question. Yes, I actually knew what I wanted to do coming back to answer that cliffhanger, and you'll see if if you went back to look at the cliffhanger, you'll see exactly where I set up what happens in episode 1 of season 11.
I know you like to end on a cliffhanger a lot, but are these characters going to get any kind of closure in any aspects of their lives this time around? I mean, I know there's always, you want to leave options open,
right.
But are they going to get any kind of peace ever? Basically.
Well, I mean, what is closure? Closure, you think you have closure, and then all of a sudden what you imagined was finished or done or past comes back somehow in the future, and just like life itself. So I think until a character dies, there's no complete closure. And so far, in the season, we haven't killed off any main characters.
Do you have an end goal in mind? Is there an end scene that you have always planned, or you'd like to, that you have in your mind now?
No.
Does it constantly evolve, constantly?
Yeah, it does, and I still think the X-Files has a tremendous amount of life left in it, lots of stories to tell. And as long as there are stories to tell, I think that we'll all come back and consider doing it, if not doing it. And so that's a good place to be, to know the show has a lot of life in it.
Would you be interested in other spin-offs as well?
It's been spoken about, but right now I'm focused on what I'm doing.
For a while, you've been talking about potentially somewhere down the line doing a third film that was dealt with colonization. It seemed like at least some elements of that were being worked into the cliffhanger.
Yeah.
To what extent is that playing out versus that being something you're kind of keeping in your back pocket?
I think that the things that I actually wrote a third movie, and just for my own purposes, because I wanted to see how I would approach a big screen X-Files, and a lot of those things that I wrote about found their way into season 10 and now in season 11.
I find the show's, my favorite parts of the X-Files are when it's unabashedly humorous. Are we going to have any more kind of bottle episodes where it's like just good to know?
It's funny, I mean, I think you could actually bring the show back and just completely parody it now, and people would come back.
I would.
Yeah. And, I think that that would be a very limited run for the show, though. I think you can only parody something so long before even the parody gets over.
It's delicious when it's kind of parsed out a little bit.
Yeah.
Are there any new guest stars you can tease or anything? Have you any new characters in the show this season that we?
Yes, Barbara Hershey is somebody we cast in the show, so she's in episode 1. We've got another character, we're calling Mr. Y in episode 1, and they will figure into the mythology going forward.
Any challenges you faced in season 10 that have affected how you've approached this new season?
I think they were more logistical and practical things. We had to go back to Vancouver. I think all of us kind of found ourselves back home after a long time away from home. Now I think we're more comfortable having gone back there. We've got a lot of the crew has come back, or we had to put a brand new crew together for season 10. So I think that they are things that are practical and are producer issues rather than creative issues.
Kind of takes the pressure off too, I would
does.
figure.
Well, working with people you know and like, always.
Can you talk? Okay.
What's remained consistent about your experience making the show from start to finish? Has anything remained the same, just in terms of the production of it, or
from start to, you mean from way
back? Yeah.
I have to say, the show, the miracle on the show for me is how many good people have come onto it, and their participation and their good ideas have made it better. So, that's something you pray for, because it's a lot of hard work, and you hand people a script, and if they don't have good ideas, the work suffers. But if you hand people the script and they all have good ideas, the work benefits, and I have to say it's the latter. you hand people a script and they've got good ideas, and the show becomes the X-Files.
Can you talk about Easter eggs as well? Are you a fan of injecting little things into the?
Yes.
And at what sort of stage are you constantly thinking about them, or?
Yeah, they're always in the back of my mind, like an Easter egg. You know, they are things that you hope people get the joke, or you hope people get the reference, or you hope people see what you're doing. Sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't.
But there are loads more in this season?
There are a smattering of them.
Good.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chris.